short term for it is lab, which is a lactobacillus.
Okay.
Yes, it's a lactobacillus.
Spell it. I'm joking. So hi, it's Andrea from UBud here with Q from Stepwell Soil. We've got a lot of questions from our growers because we supply your living soil.
Right.
So we wanted to ask you so you can tell everybody, what is living soil?
Well, basically, living soil is living soil. What's in the soil is microorganisms,
Okay.
Bacteria and fungi. That's something that we cultured back at our facility.
Okay.
That method is like composting, and then when you're composting, you're building up those microorganisms in the soil so that you're putting it into the bales technically,
Okay.
and for growers to use it.
And the plants use those nutrients.
Right. So the composting is the blend of amendments that we put into the soil.
Okay.
And it's a specific ratio that we use so that it breaks down at a certain rate, and we're not like putting a full blast of nutrients in there so that the plants will die right away. So it's very delicate on how much is in the soil.
Okay.
And how much is being released at a time, right? So the way it's living, it's like we're trying to recreate an active web of living soil that's outside, like Mother Earth, in the ground.
Right.
Right. So like there's microorganisms, bacteria and fungi in the ground that's breaking up like leaf matter, and there's worms that are making worm castings so that the plants are feeding off the nutrients that's broken down in the earth. So we're just mimicking that.
As a plant grows, do you have to replenish the soil?
Technically, yes. As in nature, like leaves do fall down from the to the ground, and then that decomposes and that becomes nutrients for next year's crops.
Right.
So like after one crop of this, you would want to use like an amendment or compost teas to reactivate, to introduce more nutrients for the next grow.
Okay. So with the living soil, if I were to use a synthetic nutrient or fertilizer,
right,
is that compatible?
Technically, no. If you're putting synthetic nutrients, it can kill the soil because it's not compatible with the microorganisms in the soil. But if you're doing light doses, it's not so bad. It's almost like a protein shake for humans, you know what I mean? So like once in a while it's okay, but it's not thing that we'd highly recommend. It's something that would take the organic growing process away from what we're trying to achieve in the end. Yeah.
Right. So what type of fertilizer do you recommend?
So we do use Nature's Pride, which is provided by Kootenai Biosoil.
Okay.
If you can't get that product off our website for some reason, or it's not available to you locally, then you can go another route and use Gaia Green, like 444 as a veg top dressing, and then you have the Bloom Gaia Green as well. But for the most part, you can use Nature's Pride because you guys can get it off our website or Kootenai Biosoil's website as well.
Okay. So we provide EM1 with our organic grows. Can you explain what the EM1 is?
Right. So the EM1 is a probiotic. A short term for it is a lab, which is a lactobacillus.
Okay.
Yes, it's a lactobacillus.
Spell it. I'm joking.
So yeah, what the lactobacillus is helps build up the immune system of the plant while breaking down nutrients at the same time. This is like introducing another form of bacteria into the soil, and then that helps speed up the breakdown of the nutrients in the soil.
Okay.
While providing trace elements from the molasses that's being preserved in.
Is there any benefit to spraying the leaves with EM1?
Of course, yeah. So because it's made from a lactobacillus, or it is a lactobacillus, it helps fight powdery mildew. At the same time, like for us, if we're taking probiotics, we're building up our own immune system at the same time.
That's right.
So then by spraying the EM1 during veg only, the immune system of the plant gets built up, so then it can be more tolerant to PM or any other viruses like botrytis or bud rot, right? Yeah.
Good. And also I wanted to ask you about watering. Can I use any old tap water with living soil?
So technically, yes, you could, but I highly recommend using filtered water because the water we have in our municipal waterways is filled with chlorine and chloramine, and that's just to keep our pipes clean, right? To get it to us, to our taps. But for us to consume it at a small dose, then it's okay.
Right.
But for the plants, if you keep on accumulating it over time, it becomes detrimental and starts killing off the microorganisms in the soil.
And that's how you can get nutrient lock as well.
Exactly.
Correct, right?
That will definitely lock you out. And it's not something that you would see immediately. It's a progressive thing. And then maybe after 4 or 5 feedings of tap water, you might start seeing yellowing or spotting or something like that because it is locking out.
Okay. And if that were to happen and you went back with another EM1 treatment and distilled or filtered water, can it be corrected?
Well, it definitely can be corrected. The best thing to correct it immediately would be to use compost teas. So while you're brewing a compost tea, you're building up the bacteria again, and then you're also breaking down soluble nutrients that's in that tea.
Right.
And then you feed it immediately to the plant, and then that becomes soluble for the plant to feed right away.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Any advice for a new grower?
Yeah. The biggest advice would be don't give up, don't get discouraged. Your first grow is never going to be your best grow. It's definitely not going to be in an Olympic grow, and it takes years and years for people to achieve the results that you see people posting up on Facebook and Instagram like that. It's not a first-time thing, definitely not.
But having friends can
Yeah,
help.
having good friends in the community. Like, there's a lot of Instagram groups, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there that will help you out.
Absolutely.
So like they're very willing to answer questions. There's novice to pro growers on these communities or in these communities. So you can just go to them and ask them directly. You can even ask us directly. We've been very helpful, or we try to be as helpful as possible online with any of our social media platforms. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, also LinkedIn. So like anybody asking us questions, we usually try to get back within the day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
No problem.